Commander Lisa Bailey stood at the viewport of the Earth exploration vessel Pathfinder, watching the massive Galactic Council station grow larger. Her stomach tightened with each passing moment. Humanity's future might depend on what happened in the next few hours. "Final approach, Commander," said Pilot Officer Kevin Wright. "Council Control has assigned us Docking Bay 17. Lisa nodded and straightened her dark blue uniform. "Thank you, Kevin. Notify the diplomatic team to assemble in the main airlock. In 20 minutes. "Yes, Commander." Lisa turned to her second-in-command, Jack Murphy. His usual smile was absent today. "What's on your mind, Jack?" she asked. "I've been studying the Council species files again," he said. "I don't like how they sort everyone by physical traits. Claws, armor, venom. It seems primitive." Lisa had worried about the same thing. Earth's first deep space probes had discovered the Galactic Council 5 years ago. The Council ruled over 200 star systems and consisted of 7 powerful species. Their entire society was built on a ranking system based on evolutionary traits. "We'll just have to show them that humans have more to offer than our physical attributes," Lisa said. The diplomatic team gathered at the airlock, 12 men and women representing Earth's finest minds. Dr. Eric Mason, their lead scientist, carried a case of technological gifts. Ambassador Olivia Wilson held a data tablet containing humanity's formal request to join the Council. "Remember, everyone," Lisa said. "We represent not just ourselves, but all of Earth. Let's make a good first impression." The airlock opened, revealing 6 tall aliens waiting in the docking tube. Leading them was a creature that looked like a cross between a praying mantis and a velociraptor. Lisa recognized him from the briefing files as Zixtar, of Rel, and the Council's current overseer. "Welcome to Council Station," Zixtar said through his translator device. "We have prepared accommodation for your species." His mandibles clicked together in what Lisa hoped was a friendly gesture. The diplomatic team followed the alien escort through gleaming corridors. Council Station was enormous, a city in space, where representatives of dozens of species conducted the business of galactic government. In a large chamber with a circular table, representatives of all 7 Council species waited. Lisa studied each one, matching them to her briefing files. The muscular reptilian Xanthar, the 6-armed crystalline Osiri, the winged bird-like Tachia, the tentacled aquatic Makari in their water suits, the insectoid Dren swarms, and the shadow-like Zolox, barely visible except for glowing eyes. All of them had obvious natural weapons or defenses. All of them looked at the humans with what Lisa could only interpret as dismissive interest. "Please be seated," Zixtar said, pointing to a section of smaller chairs clearly meant for the humans. Ambassador Wilson stepped forward and presented the formal greeting. "On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we come in peace and friendship. We bring knowledge to share and hope to learn from your wisdom." Zixtar's translator relayed the message to the other council members. Several made sounds that the human translators couldn't interpret. "We have reviewed your biological data," said Nexalara, the Xanthar representative. Her voice was deep, her scaled skin gleaming under the lights. "Your species lacks natural armaments. We have achieved much through technology and cooperation," Ambassador Wilson explained. "Technology can be taken," said the Dren representative, a swarm of small insects speaking in unison. "Natural advantages cannot." For 2 hours, the humans presented their case for joining the Council. They showed their achievements in medicine, physics, and art. They explained Earth's diverse ecosystems and cultures. They offered friendship and trade. The Council members listened, but Lisa could sense their growing disinterest. Finally, Zixtar raised a bladed arm for silence. "The Council must categorize your species according to our laws. Please wait outside while we deliberate." The humans were escorted to a waiting room. Lisa paced while the others sat in uncomfortable silence. "They're not taking us seriously," Dr. Mason said. "Did you see how they looked at us?" "Like we're children," Jack agreed. "Or worse." An hour later, they were called back in. The council members sat tall in their seats, looking down at the humans. "We have reached our decision," Zixtar announced. "Based on physical attributes and evolutionary development, Humans are classified as a Category 7 species. Ambassador Wilson frowned. What does Category 7 mean? It is our designation for prey species, explained the Osiri representative, light reflecting off her crystal body. Species without significant natural defenses or offensive capabilities. A cold feeling spread through Lisa's chest. Prey species? This is an honor in its way, Zixtar said. The Council protects prey species. You will be assigned a protectorate status under Xanthar authority. They will oversee the management of your resources and population. Management? Lisa stepped forward. We didn't come here to be managed. Earth is an independent world. Not anymore, said Nexalara with what looked like a smile. Category 7. Species require guidance. It is the natural order. Ambassador Wilson tried to protest, but the Council had clearly made its decision. Lisa watched as 7 alien species casually decided the fate of humanity, based on nothing more than their lack of claws or armor. We need to return to our ship and contact Earth, Lisa said firmly. Of course, Zixtar agreed. You have 3 of your Earth days to prepare your world for inspection. A Xanthar fleet will arrive to begin resource assessment. The diplomatic team was escorted back to the Pathfinder in stunned silence. Once aboard, Lisa called an emergency meeting in the command center. Send an encrypted message to Earth Defense Command, she ordered Communications Officer Diane Powell. Inform them of our situation and request immediate instructions. Yes, Commander, Diane said, her fingers flying over the communication console. They see us as cattle, Jack said quietly. Or worse, Dr. Mason added. I analyzed their terminology. Resource assessment likely means identifying Earth's valuable materials and possibly which humans would make suitable servants or food. Lisa felt sick but kept her face calm for her crew. We're leaving as soon as possible. Prepare for immediate departure. The Pathfinder was just disconnecting from the docking clamps when alarms blared throughout the ship. Commander, Kevin shouted, from the pilot station. Multiple ships approaching, they're Xanthar vessels and they're powering weapons. Evasive maneuvers, Lisa ordered. Diane broadcast on all frequencies that we are a diplomatic vessel. The first shots hit before they could respond. The Pathfinder shuddered as energy beams tore through its hull. Direct hit to engines. Jackie reported as smoke filled the bridge. We've lost main power. Lisa grabbed the ship-wide communication system. All hands, abandon ship. Get to the escape pods. The bridge rocked with another explosion. Lisa helped Diane from her damaged console, and they ran for the nearest escape pod. Jack and 3 others joined them as the Pathfinder began breaking apart. Their pod launched into space just as the main reactor exploded. Through the small viewport, Lisa watched her ship die, along with most of her crew. Only 3 other pods managed to launch. They didn't even warn us, Jack said in disbelief. They just attacked. Lisa's hands clenched into fists. They thought we were prey. Easy targets. She looked at the survivors in the small pod. We need to stay alive long enough to warn Earth. Outside, Xanthar hunter ships were already moving to capture the escape pods. They're coming for us, Diane said, pointing at approaching ships. Lisa's eyes narrowed. Then they'll learn something the Council doesn't understand yet. Humans might not have claws or armor, but we're not prey. And we're certainly not easy targets. The predators were coming, but they had no idea what they were hunting. The escape pod shook violently as it entered the atmosphere of an uninhabited moon. Lisa gripped her seat, watching as the temperature gauge climbed into the red zone. Brace for impact, she shouted. The pod hit the rocky surface hard, skidding, for nearly half a mile before coming to a stop. Smoke filled the small cabin. Everyone okay? Lisa called out, unbuckling her harness. Jack groaned as he checked himself for injuries. I think so. Just bruised. Diane was applying pressure to a cut on her arm. I'll live. 2 other crew members, Security Officer Paul Garcia and Engineer Kate Miller, were also injured but conscious. Lisa moved to the pod's small viewport. The moon's surface was barren and rocky with low gravity. In the distance, she could see the trails of the other escape pods that had made it off the Pathfinder. And higher in the sky, the unmistakable shapes of Xanthar hunter ships circling. "They're looking for us," she said. Paul joined her at the viewport. "The pod's emergency beacon is active. Earth Defense Fleet will pick it up. So will the Xanthar," Jack pointed out. "We need to move away from the pod before they track us down." Lisa nodded. "Gather whatever supplies you can. Food, water, medical kits. We need to find the other survivors and locate better shelter." The 5 humans collected what supplies they could from the damaged pod. Each took an emergency pack with water, ration bars, a basic first aid kit, and a survival blanket. Paul distributed the pod's 3 handheld lasers used for cutting or signaling. "Just so everyone knows," Lisa said as they prepared to exit. "This moon has breathable air but low gravity and extreme temperature shifts. The days are hot, the nights freezing." Kate checked the pod's systems one last time. "The distress beacon is transmitting on Earth frequencies. Help will come, if they can." Lisa didn't say what they were all thinking, that Earth was billions of miles away and the Xanthar were already here. They stepped out onto the moon's surface. The low gravity made walking awkward at first, each step sending them higher than expected. "Look there," Diane pointed to a column of smoke about 2 miles away. "Another pod." "That's our first stop," Lisa decided. "Stay low and watch the sky." They had covered half the distance when Jack spotted them. 3 Xanthar ships, descending toward the other crash site. "They're landing," he said, pulling out a small set of field binoculars from his pack. Through the binoculars, Lisa watched as 6 tall reptilian figures emerged from the ships. The Xanthar hunters were covered in armor that enhanced their already formidable natural protection. They carried energy weapons and moved with predatory grace even in the low gravity. "They're going after the other pod," Lisa said. Paul's hand moved to the laser cutter at his belt. "We have to help them." "With what?" Kate asked. "Those are armed hunters with superior technology and physical strength." Lisa studied the terrain. "We don't fight them directly. We're outnumbered and outgunned." Her mind raced through options. "But we have one advantage they don't expect." "What's that?" Diane asked. "They think we're prey," Lisa said. "They expect us to hide or run in a straight line. They don't expect us to think like predators ourselves." She quickly outlined a plan. The 5 humans split up, with Lisa and Paul moving to higher ground while the others circled around behind the Xanthar landing site. From her vantage point, Lisa could see the hunters dragging 4 humans from the crashed pod. Even from a distance, she could tell 2 were badly injured. "This is Commander Bailey to all Xanthar personnel," she broadcast on an open frequency. "Release our people immediately. You have attacked a diplomatic vessel without provocation, in violation of all civilized protocols." One of the Xanthar looked up, scanning the ridgeline where Lisa and Paul were hidden. "Prey does not make demands," came the translated reply. "Submit yourselves for processing." "What exactly is processing?" Lisa asked, trying to buy time as she saw Jack and the others getting into position. "Classification, assessment of usefulness, and resource allocation," the Xanthar leader replied. "Most of your kind will serve as labor, some for study, some for nutrition trials." Lisa felt sick. "And if we refuse?" "Then you will be hunted for sport before processing. Your choice only affects the method, not the outcome." Paul whispered, "They're splitting up. 2 are heading this way to find us." Lisa nodded and spoke again into her communicator. "You've made a serious mistake. Humans aren't what you think we are." The Xanthar leader made a sound that might have been laughter. "We have studied your physiology. No significant natural weapons. Limited strength. Poor sensory abilities. You are classified correctly as prey." "Now," Lisa whispered to Paul. Then she raised her voice again. "You didn't study our minds." On her signal, Kate activated the emergency beacon she had removed from their pod and placed near the Xanthar ships. The high-pitched whine was calibrated to be particularly painful to reptilian hearing, based on the biological data they had on the Xanthar. The hunters clutched at their heads, disoriented by the sound. In that moment, Diane and Jack emerged from hiding and fired their laser cutters at the ship's external sensor arrays. Lisa and Paul slid down the ridge, using the low gravity to move quickly. In the confusion, they reached the captured humans. "Can you move?" Lisa asked the least injured, a woman she recognized as Dr. Helen Ward from the science team. "I think so," Helen said. "The others need help." The Xanthar were recovering faster than Lisa had hoped. One of them fired an energy weapon that barely missed Jack as he dodged behind a rock. "Get them to the cave system we passed," Lisa told, Paul pointing to a dark opening in the nearby cliff face. "We'll cover you." Paul and Helen helped the injured crew members toward the caves while Lisa, Jack, and Diane created a diversion. They split up, moving in different directions, forcing the Xanthar to divide their attention. "Over here," Diane shouted, drawing fire before disappearing behind a boulder. When two hunters pursued her, Jack ambushed them from above, jumping from a rock outcropping and landing on one hunter's back. The low gravity allowed him to knock the much larger alien off balance. Lisa used her laser cutter to slice through the ammunition pack of another hunter, causing a small explosion that scattered the remaining Xanthar. "Fall back," she ordered. "To the caves." The humans retreated, using the terrain to their advantage. They knew the Xanthar would follow, but that was part of the plan. At the cave entrance, Kate had prepared another surprise. As the first hunter entered the narrow passage, she triggered a rockfall that she had rigged using the laser cutter. Tons of loose stone crashed down, trapping the alien inside and blocking the entrance. "There are other ways in," she told Lisa as they regrouped, "deeper in the cave system. But they'll have to find them first." Lisa nodded grimly. "They thought we'd be easy targets. They didn't expect us to fight back effectively." "We've only delayed them," Paul pointed out. "They have ships, weapons, and reinforcements on the way." "True," Lisa said. "But we've already survived longer than they expected, and we've sent them a message." Jack looked at her. "What message is that?" Lisa's eyes were hard in the dim light of the cave. "That humans understand hunting too, and sometimes the prey fights back." Outside, the Xanthar leader watched the cave entrance, his respect for the strange, soft-skinned aliens grudgingly growing. He activated his communicator. "Request additional hunting parties," he said. "The prey is unusual. They cooperate in ways we did not anticipate." In orbit above them, more Xanthar ships were arriving. The hunt was just beginning. Admiral Steve Grant stood before the massive display screen in Earth Defense Fleet headquarters. The emergency signal from the Pathfinder played again, fragmented and distorted, but clear enough to understand the terrible news. Commander Bailey reports the Galactic Council has classified humans as a Category 7 species. "Prey," said the intelligence officer beside him. The Xanthar attacked without warning. Steve's face remained calm, but his hands tightened into fists at his sides. "How many survivors?" "Unknown, sir. We detected multiple emergency beacons, but they're going silent one by one." "Prepare the Shadowhawk for immediate launch," Steve ordered, "and contact Captain Alan Morris." 12 hours later, the stealth vessel, Shadowhawk, slipped out of Earth's orbit. Unlike the diplomatic Pathfinder, this ship was built for combat and covert operations. Its hull absorbed sensor scans rather than reflecting them, and its engines left almost no energy signature. In the command center, Captain Alan Morris studied the tactical display showing the Galactic Council station and the surrounding space. "Admiral, Grant was clear," he told his crew. "This is a rescue mission, not a declaration of war. We find our people and bring them home." First Officer Nicole Wright looked skeptical. "And if the Council ships try to stop us, then we show them that prey can bite back," Alan said. "But only if necessary." The Shadowhawk carried a new weapon system, the Psychological Warfare Suite, designed to target alien sensory systems. It could generate frequencies that disrupted neural patterns in various species, based on the limited biological data Earth scientists had gathered. 6 days to the edge of Council space, Alan said. "Let's hope we're not too late." Back on the Moon, Lisa and her group had moved deeper into the cave system. The injured crew members were stabilized but needed proper medical care. Their supplies were running low. "They're bringing in scanning equipment," Jack reported after returning from a scouting mission to the cave entrance. "They've already mapped The major tunnels, it's only a matter of time. Lisa nodded. 9 days had passed since the crash. 9 days of cat and mouse with the Xanthar hunters. They had managed to ambush isolated hunters 3 times, capturing weapons and supplies. But the Xanthar were learning, adapting to human tactics. We need to change our approach, Lisa said. They expect us to keep hiding, to stay on the defensive. What's the alternative? Asked Paul. We can't exactly walk up to their ships and ask for a ride home. Lisa smiled for the first time in days. Actually, that's exactly what we're going to do. She outlined her plan to the others. It was dangerous, possibly suicidal, but they were running out of options. That night, while the primary hunting party was exploring the western tunnel system, Lisa led a small team to the surface near the Xanthar base camp. The hunters had established a perimeter of sensors and automated weapons, but Kate's engineering skills allowed them to identify a blind spot. Their technology is advanced, Kate whispered as she worked to disable a sensor node. But they rely too much on it. They don't expect us to understand how it works. Once through the perimeter, Lisa, Jack, and Diane approached the smallest of the Xanthar ships. A single guard paced nearby, his scaled skin gleaming in the moonlight. Lisa had studied the Xanthar through their brief encounters. Despite their physical advantages, they had weaknesses. Their eyesight was excellent in bright light but poor in darkness. Their hearing was sensitive to certain frequencies. Jack activated a small device they had built from parts salvaged from their escape pod. It emitted a high-pitched sound, just at the edge of human hearing, but painfully loud to Xanthar ears. The guard dropped his weapon and clutched his head. Before he could recover, Diane fired the captured Xanthar stun weapon. The guard collapsed. "Let's move," Lisa said. Inside the ship, they found what they were looking for. A communications array far more powerful than their emergency beacons. "Can you make it work?" Lisa asked Kate through their communicator. "Give me 5 minutes," Kate replied from her position outside where she was monitoring Xanthar movements. Jack studied the alien controls. "I think this is it," he said, pressing a sequence of symbols. The console lit up. "Broadcast on all Earth frequencies," Lisa ordered. "Send our coordinates and situation report." "Wait," Jack said suddenly. "I'm picking up something. It's an Earth signal. Someone's already out here, broadcasting on an encrypted channel." Lisa took over the console. "This is Commander Lisa Bailey of the Earth vessel Pathfinder. We are stranded and under attack by Xanthar forces. Anyone receiving, please respond." For a moment, there was only static. Then a voice came through. "Commander. Bailey, this is Captain Alan Morris of the EDF vessel Shadowhawk. We received your distress call. Hold position. We are 3 days from your location." Lisa felt hope surge through her. "Captain Morris, be advised. Council forces believe humans are a prey species. They attacked without provocation and are hunting survivors." "Understood, Commander. We're coming in dark. The Shadowhawk is a stealth vessel. They won't see us until... It's too late." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the Xanthar ship. "They've detected the transmission," Diane warned. "Captain Morris, we have to move," Lisa said quickly. "Sending you our current coordinates. Be careful. The Council has classified Earth for resource harvest." "Copy that. Stay alive, Commander. Shadowhawk out." They fled the ship just as Xanthar hunters began converging on their position. In the confusion, they managed to reach the cave entrance, but not before Paul took a glancing hit from an energy weapon. "I'll be fine," he insisted as they helped him through the tunnel. "Did it work?" "Yes," Lisa said. "Help is coming. We just need to survive 3 more days." Outside the cave, the Xanthar commander summoned his science officer. "The prey used our own technology against us," he said, his voice a mix of anger and grudging respect. The science officer examined the data from the ship's sensors. They are displaying problem-solving abilities far beyond Category 7 parameters, and their physical endurance is exceptional. We've hunted them for 9 cycles without rest, and they show no signs of surrendering. I want them captured alive, the commander decided. The council scientist Kelmav is arriving tomorrow to study these anomalies. The science officer hesitated. Sir, I'm detecting unusual energy readings at the edge of the system. Very faint, possibly a sensor malfunction. Investigate it, the commander ordered. Nothing must interfere with this hunt. In the darkness of space, the Shadowhawk glided silently toward the moon, its presence barely a whisper against the background radiation. On its bridge, Captain Morris watched the growing concentration of Xanthar ships with concern. They're calling for reinforcements, Nicole observed. Whatever Commander Bailey and her people are doing down there, they've got the Xanthar worked up. Alan smiled grimly. Good. Distracted predators make mistakes. He turned to his weapons officer. Prepare the psychological warfare suite. We're going to show the Council that they made a very serious error in judgment. The hunt was about to change in ways the Xanthar could not imagine. The prey was becoming the predator. The Council ship arrived with a flash of light as it exited faster than light travel. Larger than the hunter vessels, it carried the Council's chief biological researcher, Kel Mav, of the Osiri species. His crystalline body glittered as he stepped onto the moon's surface. Show me everything, he ordered the Xanthar commander. The commander led Kel Mav to their base camp. The prey has evaded capture for 12 days now. We've lost 7 hunters. Kel Mav's crystal eyes flickered with surprise. 7 hunters? 2 unarmed prey? They are not entirely unarmed now, the commander admitted reluctantly. They have captured our weapons, and they use the environment against us. Kel Mav studied the maps and sensor readings. Fascinating. A Category 7 species should not display these behaviors. Show me the records of the encounters. The Xanthar brought up video recordings from their hunters' armor cameras. Kel Mav watched humans using simple tools to create traps. He saw them working together with complex signals. Most interesting was their endurance. The humans kept moving, fighting, thinking, even when injured or exhausted. They do not surrender, Kel Mav observed. Even when escape is impossible, they continue to resist. It makes the hunt challenging, the commander said. It makes your classification questionable, Kel Mav corrected. I need a specimen for study, alive and undamaged. Inside the cave system, Lisa and her people were running out of options. 2 of the injured crew members had developed infections. Water was scarce. They had been forced deeper into the tunnels as Xanthar scanning technology mapped more of their hiding places. One more day, Lisa told the group huddled in the dim light of their emergency lamp. The Shadowhawk will be here tomorrow. If we live that long, Jack said, checking the charge on their captured Xanthar weapon. We're down to 1 functioning energy rifle. Lisa had been thinking about this problem for hours. We need to split up, she finally said. I'll lead a team to the surface, create a diversion. The rest of you stay with the injured and conserve resources. Paul shook his head. That's suicide, Commander. Not if we're smart about it, Lisa replied. We've learned a lot about how the Xanthar hunt. They're strong and tough, but they're impatient. They don't understand endurance hunting. Diane looked up. Endurance hunting? Like our ancestors used? To do? Lisa nodded. Exactly. Humans can't outrun most prey animals in a sprint. But over long distances, we can outlast almost anything. We're going to make the Xanthar chase us until they're exhausted. The plan was simple but dangerous. Lisa, Jack, and Kate would exit the caves at different points, drawing the hunters away from the main group. They would use hit-and-run tactics, never engaging directly, but forcing the Xanthar to pursue them across the difficult terrain. Remember, Lisa said as they prepared to separate, humans are persistence predators. It's in our DNA. When every other animal has to stop from exhaustion, we can keep going. In orbit above the moon, the Shadowhawk approached under complete stealth. Captain Morris studied the tactical display showing the Xanthar ships and the new Council vessel. Time to announce our presence, he said. Activate the psychological warfare suite. Target the Xanthar hunters on the surface first. The weapons officer pressed a sequence of commands. PW suite active, sir. Broadcasting on Xanthar neural frequencies. On the moon's surface, the Xanthar hunters suddenly stopped in their tracks. The sound was inside their heads, not quite a noise, but a disruption of their neural patterns. It caused confusion, disorientation, and in some cases, intense pain. Now, Phase 2, Alan ordered. Target their ship's communication systems. The Shadowhawk transmitted precisely calculated energy bursts that overloaded the Xanthar communication arrays. Ship after ship lost contact with each other and their base camp. Lisa emerged from a cave entrance to find chaos. Xanthar hunters were stumbling around, clutching their heads or frozen in place. She activated her communicator. "This is Bailey. Something's happening to the Xanthar. I think our rescue has arrived." In the confusion, Lisa spotted an opportunity. A small council shuttle sat unguarded near the main Xanthar ship, and walking toward it was a crystalline figure she recognized as an Osiri, one of the council species. "Jack, Kate," she whispered into her communicator. "I see a council member. This might be our chance to get some answers." Kelmav was indeed seeking answers of his own. The sudden disruption of the Xanthar forces suggested technology beyond what humans were supposed to possess. His research was becoming more interesting by the minute. He was so focused on collecting data that he didn't notice Lisa approaching until she was only a few steps away. "Don't move," she said, pointing the captured Xanthar weapon at him. Kelmav's crystalline body shimmered with surprise. "You are one of the humans. Commander Lisa Bailey, Earth Exploration Vessel Pathfinder. You attacked my ship without provocation." "A regrettable misunderstanding," Kelmav said. "I am Kelmav, Council, Science Division. I had no part in that decision." Lisa didn't lower her weapon. "Your council classified us as prey, as resources to be harvested." "Based on incomplete data," Kelmav replied. "Your species is not what we expected. I came to study this anomaly." Before Lisa could respond, a massive explosion lit up the sky. One of the Xanthar ships had been hit by a precision strike from orbit. "That would be our rescue party," Lisa said with grim satisfaction. Kelmav studied her with growing fascination. "Your kind planned this? You have ships with such capabilities?" "The Shadowhawk is just one vessel," Lisa said. "Earth has many more. We didn't come looking for a fight, but we know how to finish one." On the Shadowhawk's bridge, Captain Morris received new sensor readings. "Multiple ships entering the system," the tactical officer reported. "Their council vessels heavily armed." "Hold position," Alan ordered. "Continue the rescue operation. Get our people off that moon." Landing craft descended from the Shadowhawk, touching down near Lisa's position. Earth Special Forces in combat. Gear secured the area, collecting the disoriented Xanthar hunters. Lisa kept her attention on Kelmav. "You're coming with us. The people of Earth deserve an explanation from the Council." "I would be pleased to accompany you," Kelmav said, surprising her. "My research requires more data on your species, and the Council must be informed of their classification error." As they boarded the rescue craft, Lisa looked back at the barren moon that had been their battlefield. For nearly 2 weeks, her people had survived against all odds, against enemies with superior strength, armor, and weapons. "We're not prey," she said quietly. "No," Kelmav agreed, his crystal eyes reflecting the stars above. "You are something the Council has never encountered before, and that makes you dangerous in ways we do not yet understand." The rescue craft lifted off as more Council ships appeared in orbit. The confrontation was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. Indy. The Council Station Overseer Zixtar received the disturbing news. Humans had not only survived the hunt, but had somehow turned the tables on the Xanthar, and now a human vessel with advanced technology was engaging Council forces. "Impossible," he hissed. "They are Category 7, prey." But the evidence before him suggested otherwise. And for the first time in centuries, Zixtar felt something unexpected. Doubt about the Council's perfect classification system, and perhaps the faintest touch of fear. 3 weeks after the rescue from the moon, Admiral Steve Grant stood in Earth's orbital defense station looking at the tactical display. 20 Council ships had gathered at the edge of Earth's solar system. Not yet an invasion force, but definitely a show of strength. They're still trying to decide what to do about us, Lisa said, standing beside him. Her wounds from the ordeal had healed, but the memory remained fresh. And what are we going to do about them? Steve asked. I have an idea about that, Lisa replied. Our guest has been very helpful. In a secure room nearby, Kelmav was sharing everything he knew about Council technology and biology with Earth scientists. The crystalline alien had requested political asylum, convinced that the Council's rigid thinking would lead to its downfall. The Council has ruled for 10,000 years using the same classification system, Kelmav explained to Lisa when she visited him later. Species with natural weapons or defenses are predators. Those without are prey. Simple, unchanging. But humans don't fit into your system, Lisa said. Precisely. Physically you appear as prey, no claws, no armor, no venom. But you behave as apex predators. You use tools, strategy, and most remarkably, endurance. Kelmav's crystalline form glittered with excitement. Do you know that humans can run longer distances than any other known species? You literally chase prey until it collapses from exhaustion. The Council has never encountered persistence predators before. Captain Alan Morris joined them carrying a data tablet. We've analyzed the Council biological database that Kelmav provided. It confirms what we suspected. Most Council species evolved as ambush predators or heavily armored prey. They attack quickly or defend with physical adaptations. Whereas humans evolved to persist, Lisa said, to outlast, outthink, and adapt. Alan nodded, and that gives us an advantage they don't understand yet. On the main Council station, Overseer Zixtar faced growing dissent among the 7 ruling species. The news of human resistance had spread, along with the disturbing report that a Council scientist had defected. The classification must stand, Zixtar insisted to the gathered representatives. Humans are Category 7. Their planet must be harvested according to our laws. Their ships defeated Xanthar hunters, argued a representative of the Tachya, the bird-like species. No prey species has such technology, and they captured Kelmav, added the Dren swarm. Our most valued biological researcher. Zixtar's mandibles clicked in irritation. A temporary setback. We will assemble a proper fleet and take what is ours by right. I have studied the data from the human encounter, said the Makari representative, water bubbling in his suit. These humans display unusual traits. They do not surrender when injured. They continue fighting past the point where any rational being would submit. Stubbornness is not a classification criteria, Zixtar snapped. Perhaps it should be, came a new voice. The Council chamber fell silent as the main doors opened. Lisa Bailey walked in, wearing her Earth Defense Fleet uniform. Behind her came Admiral Grant, Captain Morris, and a dozen other humans in formal attire. What is the meaning of this? Zixtar demanded. How did you gain access to the Council chamber? Lisa smiled. We walked in. Your security system was designed to detect weapons, not determination. The human delegation moved to the center of the room. Admiral Grant stepped forward. I am Admiral Steve Grant of Earth. We come to address the classification error and the unprovoked attack on our diplomatic vessel. Zixtar rose to his full height, his bladed limbs extended. You have no standing here. Prey species speak only when permitted. That's your first mistake, Steve said calmly. Continuing to call us prey after all evidence to the contrary. He nodded to an aide who activated a holographic display. Images appeared in the air, surveillance footage showing hundreds of small Earth ships positioned throughout Council space. While you were deciding how to deal with us, we were learning about you, Steve explained. Small stealth vessels like the Shadowhawk have been mapping your territory, making contact with other species you've classified as prey. Impossible, Zixtar hissed. Our security net would detect such incursions. Your security net was designed by predators, Lisa said. It looks for direct threats, obvious attacks. It wasn't designed to detect patients. On the holographic display, more images appeared. Earth ships making contact with dozens of alien species, forming alliances, sharing technology. You believe physical strength is the only measure of power? Steve continued. But there are many kinds of strength. the strength to endure, to cooperate, to adapt and overcome through intelligence rather than force. Lisa took over. For the past month, we've been sharing our perspective with other species you've subjugated. Many were eager to hear a new viewpoint. The council representatives looked at each other uneasily. The implications were clear. Earth wasn't just defending itself, it was changing the very foundation of council authority. "What do you want?" asked the Osiri representative, her crystal form reflecting the tension in the room. "Recognition," Steve said simply. "Recognition that humans are not prey, that no sentient species should be classified as a resource to be harvested, and reparations for the attack on our ship." Zixtar's voice was dangerous. "And if we refuse?" Lisa looked directly at him. "Then we continue what we've started. Not with warships or weapons, but with ideas. Ideas about cooperation instead of domination. About the strength of diversity rather than hierarchy." She gestured to the holographic display which now showed Earth ships positioned near critical council infrastructure. Communication relays, trade routes, power stations. "We don't need to attack you," Lisa said. "We just need to outlast you. Humans are very, very good at that." The council chamber erupted in argument. Some representatives called for immediate military action against Earth. Others urged caution and negotiation. The unity that had defined the council for millennia was cracking. In the midst of the chaos, the Makari representative approached Admiral Grant. "Your species is indeed remarkable," the aquatic alien said. "You've accomplished in weeks what many have failed to do in centuries. You've made the council question itself." Steve nodded. "Humans have a saying, 'The pen is mightier than the sword.' Sometimes the greatest victories come not from fighting battles, but from changing minds." As the council continued to debate, Lisa found herself standing near Zixtar. The Vrel overseer regarded her with a mixture of anger and something new. Respect. "You were never prey," he admitted quietly. "We were blind to what you truly are." "And what is that?" Lisa asked. Zixtar's mandibles clicked softly. "Something new. Something the galaxy has not seen before. Not prey, not typical predators, but patient hunters who fight with their minds first and their bodies second." The council ultimately voted to create a new classification for humans, Category 0, marking them as a species that defied traditional categorization. More importantly, they agreed to review their entire system of galactic governance. As the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, Lisa took one last look at the council chamber. In just over a month, humans had gone from being classified as prey to reshaping the politics of the galaxy. "We never wanted to be predators," she said to Kelmav, who had accompanied them to witness the historic meeting. "No," the crystalline scientist agreed. But the council needed to learn that there are more complex relationships in nature than simply predator and prey. Sometimes the most dangerous creature is not the one with the sharpest claws, but the one with the patience and will to never give up. In that moment, the galaxy changed forever. The day had come when the council realized humans weren't prey, but something far more interesting.